Hey guys, welcome back to MCubed. As always, I am Schmook, and we're here to talk a little bit about She-Hulk, because we didn't finish it, and that's on us. That's mostly on me. But we're about to finish off this whole series review with the MCubed-Grade, and yeah, let's just get right into it. So we're going to be going over episode 5. My good friend Harris was able to go over episodes 3 and 4 for me. But yeah, this was a decent episode. I know it had mostly to do with Tatiana and how she took the name of She-Hulk for her brand of perfumes and clothing and stuff like that. Overall, pretty decent episode, but let's go into the nitty-gritty. For starters, we'll start with production design. Again, it's nothing special. I don't love the office that Jen works at. It seems pretty bland. It's just but I mean, of course, that's what a normal office would look like. It's nothing special. But again, for a superhero division, I think it could pop a little bit more. And of course, it's just a common courtroom. But I don't know, there's something about this courtroom. Just oh, this is so like I'm watching a sitcom, something very low key. And it's I mean, when I watch something like Better Call Saul, I'm like, whoa, these courtrooms are sick. I'm so invested into it. It's I'm actually there. This, I'm eh. I wish they went hard with the lawyer stuff in this show. So production design, I'm gonna give it 3 out of 10. So, Next up, we have the score and soundtrack. So with this one, again, it's just, I don't think anything pops out to me. There's only one episode where I think the music, and that's the episode where Daredevil comes in, obviously, and we'll get there. But again, it's just fine. I mean, I don't think it's anything too special. Again, I'll say it's average. It's a fine score. It's not like hearing the Avengers theme or Hans Zimmer for The Dark Knight or something like that, you know? But yeah, so I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Next up, we have the sound. The sound design's okay. I mean, I don't think there's a ton of action in this episode. It's nothing too special. Again, most of the stuff in the show, I can't even dive that deep into it because it's very average, you know? It's not something that I can just talk about. It's just it just doesn't stick out to me. It's not bad, but again, it's average. So that's gonna be a 5 out of 10 as well. Now the editing, it's I don't know, I feel just the jump, it's just shots are moving quickly or they're lingering for too long. I think this was a very subpar episode overall. Probably one of my least favorites of the whole series. So it's just the editing, it's nothing special once again. It's just oh, here's Jen, here's Tatiana, here's us in a courtroom. But again, it's cool with introductions to new characters. The camera really highlights them. Again, I'm gonna say another 5 out of 10. I don't think it's anything crazy. All right, next up we have the sound effects. Now, I think it's better. Of course, you have Jen commanding the room as a lawyer, trying to get her name back, but she seems to be down on her luck. She's man, I didn't pick this name. I didn't even like it at first, but I'm oh, this is me now. This is my identity. So it feels like my identity was stolen from me. It's cool, you know? It's cool to see her in this courtroom as She-Hulk, and she looks good as She-Hulk. It's not great yet. I don't think it gets really good looking until the last 2 episodes. I think from the beginning of the show to now, where we're halfway through the whole show, I think she's starting to look a little better, but I don't think it's anything special quite yet. So it's nice to see her. Obviously, she's the big thing that jumps out with the special effects. So yeah, with the effects, I'm gonna give that a 6 out of 10. Again, it's not great, but it's fine. Now again, the cinematography, it's nice. You like to see the courtroom shots. You like to see Tatiana and She-Hulk right at each other's throats, even in the courtroom. But again, I still don't see it as anything too fantastic, except for the last scene, which I will get into with the writing. But when it zooms in on this helmet, and this is the last scene of the show. Or the episode, and it's Daredevil's helmet. It's oh, he's coming. So I thought the cinematography was good. So I'm gonna give that a 7 out of 10 for sure. So casting is, I think, very good in this show. I like Tatiana. I think she's a decent character, a good foil for Tatiana's She-Hulk, Jen, right? I enjoyed her. I think what boosts the casting for me in this episode is the introduction to Luke Jacobson, who's this costume designer and just designer in general of clothing for superheroes, which I really enjoy. Really enjoy that character. It's interesting to see that side of the superhero gig. But then of course you have Tatiana as Jen Walters as She-Hulk, who is, I think, fantastic. I'll go into more acting, but for casting, I'm just gonna give this an 8 out of 10. Now to go into acting, so of course, I don't have to care about any other character. I like her best friend. I like Luke. I think his name's Pug, who's a good friend of all of them, who's another lawyer, right? But Jen obviously steals this whole show, and the only other people I think that can counteract her, even though he's not in this episode, is Emil Blonsky. Of course, he's played by a great actor. But again, Jen, I think, steals every episode in the show. I fell in love with this girl. Casting is a 10 out of 10, no doubt in my mind. Now the writing, I thought the writing was okay. It had an interesting plot idea, where it's Jen loses her identity as She-Hulk, because like it's never trademarked, and I think that's an interesting concept where it's like, oh, you don't think Iron Man like patented his name? It's like, I don't think so. I think it's just like stuff that would just come up. Like I don't think Peter Parker is like going out there being like, I am Spider-Man. It's interesting. But I think it's overall an interesting concept. I like how the conflict is in the courtroom. I just don't love the ending per se. It's like a smart idea. It's like, oh, she was She-Hulk in her dating profile, and then she brings in all these witnesses who went on dates with her. It's like, yeah, no, I went on a date with She-Hulk. You know, it's like, oh, okay. But then, of course, the douchebag guy who just sleeps with her and then sees Jen. It's like, I'm out of here. That's the most unrealistic thing about this show, that no one wants to date this woman, even outside of She-Hulk form. It's like, what? But again, so because of that, 7 out of 10, but very enjoyable. It's well written. Just a lot of the other things makes it like an okay episode. Direction, which I think is like, again, for a TV show, I don't think it's the biggest thing. It's like, it all looks so similar. It's the same style, and it's like, okay, it goes on same. So overall, I think it's like a 5 out of 10. I don't think it's like mind-blowing, where it's like, you can tell it's like each episode is directed so differently, except for like maybe the last episode. I think that's the only one where I'd be like, oh, okay. But again, I'll give it a 5 out of 10. I just don't think it's anything special, just average. It's just, you know, it's fine direction. But yeah, overall, that'll give us our score for this MCubed grade. This McGrade, as we may say, is a 61 out of 100. So I'm giving it a 61%. However, I'm gonna add 5%, so 66% for episode 5 of She-Hulk. The only reason I'm adding that 5% is because that Daredevil tease. And that tease sets us up for an awesome episode down the road. All right, guys, that's gonna do it here. That's episode 5 for She-Hulk. Look out for episode 6, all right? I'll catch y'all very soon. Bye-bye.